Conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's going on? We're here to talk about Houston's 125-80 blowout of the Utah Jazz tonight in Salt Lake City, Utah. With the victory, Houston improves to 25-22 on the year. They have won 3 games in a row. Utah drops to 24-21 on the year. And Utah lost its 5th game at home of the season. They're now 15-5 at home this year. Houston went up by 18 points at halftime of this game, and they never really looked back. Utah just didn't have it in this game. They didn't have the energy. Houston had all the energy. They were playing tonight, the Jazz were, without starting point guard Mo Williams, who is still out with a fractured thumb or a torn ligament in the thumb, and without swingman Gordon Hayward. I'm not sure why he was out. Houston did everything right in this game. They were 16 of 34 from three-point range, which is phenomenal. Carlos Delfino was hot early. He was hitting threes. I think he hit his first 4 three-point attempts, and that just set the pace. And Houston just pounded Utah in fast break points and in turnovers as well. And this was just every now and then, maybe, 3-4 times a year, you just get a game like this. Everything goes right for you. Nothing goes right for your opponent, and it's a blowout. And this was great. It was great to be able to get one of these, particularly in Utah, which is a very difficult place to play because of its altitude, which I think it's like 4,000 feet above sea level. And Utah's just great at home. They're a really good home team. So this was right on schedule for the Rockets in terms of this coming at a good time for them. Okay, let's turn to Jeremy. Now, I am deeming this a Linsanity 2.0 game, and it is the first 2.0 game Linsanity for 11 games. The last one was against the Lakers several weeks ago, so it's good for Linsanity to return. Now, Jeremy didn't put up huge numbers in this game, but that's only because he didn't play that many minutes. But in the minutes that he did play, he dominated. Jeremy finished with 12 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. He played 25 minutes, shot 5 of 5 from the field, 1 of 1 from three-point land, was 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 3 steals, no block shots, 3 turnovers, 1 foul. He was plus 25 plus minus, and his efficiency number was a very good 21. I had a feeling Jeremy and I do well tonight in this game, and that's because the last time they played Utah, he had a Linsanity 2.0 game in that game, and I just know that Utah's point guards aren't that good, and they're really not that good when Mo Williams isn't playing. So I just think that they don't have anybody that can guard Jeremy, and they don't have anybody that puts up a lot of offense from the point guard spots, which means Jeremy can do whatever he wants, essentially. And that's what he was able to do in this game. And he played a good, smart, controlled game. And as I said from the stats, he was perfect from the field. He hit everything he put up, free throw and field goal attempts. And he had a couple turnovers, but one of those definitely wasn't his fault. And I'll go over that in a second. One, I think he hurt his knee, kind of dinged his knee on the play. So give him a little bit of a break on that one. The third turnover, I'm not sure. I don't remember that one. But let's go through some of what Jeremy did in this game. Okay, early in the first quarter, he had a nice pass to Patrick Patterson for a baseline jumper on the right side. Then Jeremy hit a long 2-pointer. I actually missed that shot. I didn't get to see that. It was close to a 3-pointer. But it was, I guess he was like a foot within the line or something. Jeremy got a nice and one layup in transition, hit the free throw there. All of this is happening early in the first quarter, and then he found Patrick Patterson almost at the same spot as before. Little pass, right baseline jump shot for Patrick Patterson, which he hit. Now, in the middle of the first quarter, This is when Jeremy got the turnover. The pass was going from right to left, and it was to, I think it was to Chandler Parsons. But what happened was that Omer thought it was to him, and so Omer tipped the ball, and it went to a Utah player. So even though Jeremy, it wasn't really his fault, he was trying to pass to somebody else, but Omer tipped it, and so Jeremy got credited with a turnover. Now Houston was doing well early. They were up 15-6. They were rolling pretty early into this game. Jeremy kept going. In the middle of the quarter, he drove to the hoop. Really nice drive. Drove very hard on the right side of the lane. Drew two defenders, then dished the pass out to Carlos Delfino in the left corner for a three-point shot. Jeremy came out of the game in the first quarter with about 3:48 left in the quarter. Houston was up 18-14. That was just normal rest. That's the way that Kevin McHale likes to do it. Kind of take Jeremy out with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and then he'll play James Harden the entire first quarter, and then a lot of times he'll come back with Jeremy at the start of the second quarter. Jeremy came back into the game with about 10 minutes left in the half. This was a situation where James Harden was not in the ball game. As we've talked about before, in those situations, it's important for Houston to be able to score, and they were able to do that tonight. I noted that early in the second, Jeremy was looking to pass more. He was not looking to score, even with James Harden out of the game, and that's fine, particularly if you have guys like Carlos Delfino and they're hot. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. In the middle of the second quarter, that's where Jeremy, he drove towards the middle of the lane like he was driving. He didn't get to the lane. He got to like the free throw line, and he kind of just lobbed the ball behind him to Patrick Patterson, and it went out of bounds. But Jeremy looked like he dinged his knee on that play. I don't know anything else about that. I think Jeremy was fine, but I saw him kind of flexing his right knee after that play. So that was the second turnover for him. I'm not really sure what happened to his knee on that play. I might have just kind of stepped wrong or something. I made a note in the middle of the second quarter. Jeremy was doing the thing where he really helps out a lot on defense. He'll go down and double team the low post guy. But the note I made was Jeremy has to watch on over-helping on defense, meaning you want to help out, but you don't want to leave your guy wide open. And it's just something I was noticing. He was really helping out and just kind of leaving his guy all by himself. Now, in the middle of the second, Jeremy was down helping out on defense, and he forced a jump ball without Jefferson. That was great. I actually think Houston won that tip, and they got a fast break layup off of that. Late in the second, Jeremy drove hard to the basket, right-hand side of the lane. He went up for a layup attempt over Paul Millsap. He just barely missed, and Omer Asik went to tip it in, but I believe that they called offensive interference on the play. And what that means, offensive interference means that there is a make-believe cylinder that rises up over the rim. You know, the rim is shaped like a circle, so if you extend a cylinder above the rim, if the ball is in that cylinder, or if it's mostly in that cylinder, you can't touch it on offense. Now, that's different. In international basketball, you can touch it. But if you touch that in the NBA, where there's still a chance for it to go in the rim, to go in the basket, then that's offensive interference and offensive goaltending, offensive interference. And I believe Omer Asik was called with offensive interference on that play, meaning that the ball might have gone in. It might have gone in if he had left it alone. So I think Jeremy did not get credited with a shot attempt on that play. That was an interesting play. I watched the games with the sound down, so I had to kind of like make that out for myself. I didn't hear what the announcers said. Jeremy also late in the second had a really nice left side move and a lefty layup in transition. He got the ball someone passed from the back court. Back court is the other side of the half court line. So someone passed from the back court right-hand side to Jeremy on the front court, meaning closer to the basket side. On the left-hand side, it was a cross court, like a half court pass. Jeremy took it. There were actually two guys around him, and he did a nifty little move and got a left-handed layup. He finished properly on the left side with the left hand, and that was a great little move. I didn't really get to see it. It was just quick. That was a great move by him. And then finally, late in the second quarter, as I was afraid of, Jeremy got too far off of his man. I don't know if it was Jamal Tinsley or Earl Watson, but guy was just wide open for a three-pointer, and he sunk the three-pointer because Jeremy was helping out on defense there. And it's just something he has to watch. It's good that he wants to help out on defense. That's a good instinct. Just have to be careful of it. You have to be careful your guy doesn't get wide open, and you have to be careful you don't lose your guy. If you're like running through the middle and your guy is running through picks and screens and you're looking at the ball, you're trying to help out, you can lose your man. And that's not something that you want to do on defense. Okay, Jeremy started the third quarter. Houston was cruising at this point with like 10 minutes left in the third. They were up by 20. Jeremy had another one of his half-court passes. This one was to Patrick Patterson for a dunk. That was great early in the third. Jeremy also early in the third found Patrick Patterson on the left baseline this time for another short jumper. That was great. Middle of the third, Jeremy had a steal, which I believe ended up in a Houston basket. Also in the middle of the third, Jeremy hit a three-pointer from about 85 degrees on the left side, meaning almost in the left-handed corner, a little bit above that. The shot clock was winding down, if I remember correctly, and there was kind of a scramble for the ball. The ball ended up coming to Jeremy. He just picked it up, boom, no thinking, shot it right through the net. It's great. Jeremy, also in the middle of the third, went strong to the rim and scored on a nice little lefty reverse left-hand side of the rim. He kind of used the rim as a shield so that guy couldn't block his shot. Then he had a pass to Chandler for a layup, also in the middle of the third. And then with about 5:20 left in the game, left in the quarter, and Houston up 29, Jeremy came out for Tony Douglas, and that was the last that he played. So Jeremy basically didn't play the last 17 minutes of the game just because it was a total rout. But he played great. He played controlled. He only took shots that were good shots. He took the shots he wanted to take. He didn't force any shots in this game. And like I said, the turnovers, two of them I kind of throw away. One, he hurt his foot or his leg for a second. The other one was not his fault. I didn't see the other one. I missed it or I didn't write it down. So I can't really comment on that. But he was under control. He was calm. He didn't force anything. And this is the way we wanted to play. The closest he came to forcing a shot tonight was on the offensive goaltending thing. He had it in his head that he was going to the basket on that play. And he got a good shot. I mean, he got good extension over and around Paul Millsap. The ball just didn't go in the basket. And like I said, it didn't count as a shot attempt anyway because Omer tipped it when he shouldn't have tipped it. So I really can't find any fault with how Jeremy played in this game. He played great. He played the way he needed to play. And again, I mean, he doesn't need to score a ton, particularly on nights like this when other guys are filling it up. He just needs the questions about Jeremy, some of the questions that surrounded him. I know some of the questions that Mike Woodson had about him, the current coach of the Knicks, was Jeremy shoots too much or he looks to score too much. In other words, he's more of a shooting guard mentality rather than a point guard mentality, which is a distribute the ball mentality. In this game, Jeremy definitely had a point guard mentality. He was looking to pass the ball. And as we've talked about with Jeremy before, he is a combination guard. He is a combination of a shooting guard and a point guard. So as he can continue to show and develop more aspects of a point guard, that's good. He's always going to have the mentality of getting to the rim. He can do that. That's one of the things that he does and does well. So the more he's looking to set guys up, the better. And he did that really well tonight. Also, being extremely efficient when it came to shooting the ball. He didn't miss anything he put up. So even though the numbers aren't gaudy, I definitely stamped this Linsanity 2.0 because he did whatever he wanted to do. And he could have done a lot more. He just didn't have to play that many minutes because they didn't need him. So the summary is great Houston win in a tough place to play. It's very tough to win in Utah, and this was a big win. Jeremy was great tonight. Happy to see that. Happy to see him back on track. Look, what is it, 3 or 4 games ago, he got benched in the fourth quarter for 2 straight games. Now he puts up a big thing like this. That's really good to see. The next game is Wednesday, January 30th at Denver. And that's a payback game for game number 44. That was a couple games ago. And that's the game where, it's like everybody thought that I lost it in the video. I was just so upset with that game. And that was the whole, Mikhail might get fired, a rumor game and all that. I just really didn't like their energy in that game. But honestly, they looked a lot in that game like Utah looked tonight. So it does happen. I mean, it can happen. It does happen. It's going to be tough, though. Denver is as hard to win in as Utah is. Actually, it's harder. And they're like, I don't know, I can't remember the record at home, like 19-3. It's not going to be easy for Houston to win that game. And Denver has even more altitude than Salt Lake City. It's about 5,200 feet up, which is about 1,200 more feet or 1,000 more feet than Utah is. So that's hard on the lungs if you're not used to it. But hopefully Houston will come out ready to play in that game, and they can get another win. They're doing great right now after that 7-game losing streak. Now they're back on track. Okay, couple quick comments. Killer Echo, JJ Jose, Hulk Hogan. I know that Darren Williams didn't score all 20 points against Jeremy. I know that. But my point was that Darren Williams was tearing Jeremy up. And not only was he tearing him up, Jeremy was rattled a little bit. He was forcing on offense, I thought, because Darren was doing so well against him. And so he started getting turnovers and just he got out of sync. And that's why Kevin McHale pulled him out and put Tony Douglas in. And Tony didn't stop Darren immediately, but in the second quarter, he started doing some things against him. Tony did. I think he got a steal. He forced a turnover. So I thought it was a good move by Kevin McHale. You have to know, I mean, it's like a bullfighter. If you're going with the bull and you have red, you're going to have a problem. The bull's going to come at you. You have to understand what's going to motivate the opponent and what's going to calm them down. Darren Williams apparently still has an issue with Jeremy Lin because of Linsanity 1.0. And he was the guy that basically started it for Lin. So apparently Darren Williams still has a hang-up with that or still wants payback. So if you're Kevin McHale and you see that Darren Williams is going crazy against Jeremy Lin, maybe it's time to pull Jeremy Lin just to kind of let Darren Williams calm down a little bit. And so I thought that that's what he did, and I thought it worked pretty well. Darren Williams did almost all of his damage in the first quarter, then he didn't do much. So it's not so much that Darren Williams did everything against Jeremy. It's just, let's calm down Darren Williams. And I think that's why Kevin McHale took him out of the game, and it worked. It worked, even though he did do well against Tony Douglas right at the start. But then he started calming down. He kind of lost his rhythm. And that's what you need to do. And like I said, take the red away from the bull so that he's not fired up. Joyce Ward, thanks for the comments, and I appreciate that you share these videos or comments on Twitter. That's great. I really appreciate that. Night Surfer, I wouldn't worry too much about Jeremy easing up when he gets to 12 or 15 points, because I'll tell you this. In the game against Brooklyn, I was right about to put Linsanity 2.0 on that, but he didn't get enough points, in my opinion. But he was trying to get points. Like, he was at 14 points or whatever it was, and he shot a couple times trying to get more points. So, sometimes you're going to make the shot, sometimes you're not, sometimes you don't really need to look for your shot or whatever. But he definitely tried to score a few more points in that game. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. So that's it for this game. This was great. Great game. Give us your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. We will include all the information, game stories, video highlights, box score in the video description below the video player. Also information so you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,000 members and growing all the time. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. We will talk to you guys soon, certainly on Wednesday for the big game at Denver. Hope everybody's having a great night or great day wherever you are in the world. It is about midnight here on the East Coast of the United States as I make this video, which means it's about 12 noon on Tuesday the 29th, I think. Tuesday the 29th of January in Taiwan, Taipei. So we'll talk to you guys soon, and take care of yourselves until then.